Start right now. Here we go, joined by Ezra. Ezra, thank you for joining. And since it's only you, you can leave your mic on. If you want to ask any questions at any time, please don't hesitate to stop. We are on Daf Mem Beis Amud Aleph, 42a, at the very top, the top line. Rav Huna achal tlesar rifte. Rav Huna ate 13 rolls of bread. Now, these are the kind of rolls which, as we learned yesterday, are what we would call pasaba bekisnin, which is kind of like an elevated type of bread with which either is made with honey or with milk or with some other kind of added ingredient. And that kind of bread, generally, we would make a mazonos on it, and not a hamotzi. That was the way the Rambam understood it, and that's the general way we're going to understand all these Gemaras, just to keep things simple. So he ate 13 of these rolls, b'nei tlasa b'kava, and each 3 of these rolls were a full kav. A kav is a measurement, and each kav is about 24 eggs. So you have to imagine, altogether, each roll was about 8 eggs, and that's about 100 eggs altogether eaten at once. So it's a lot of food eaten at the same time. V'lo birach, and he did not say a bracha after eating them. So Amr Rav Nachman asked a great question. Ade kafna, but clearly he ate them because he was hungry. And if you eat something because you're hungry, and that's the thing you make the meal on, you have to make the bracha after. You have to make a hamotzi, you have to say birkas hamazon. So Ella, rather, what's the answer? Kol she'achrim kovim alav suda tzarich levarich. Everything that other people make a suda on it, and that's the way they generally have a suda, then you have to make a bracha. But if it's something they don't make a suda on, then you don't have to make a bracha on it. Rav Yehuda, okay, so that's the first story in the Gemara, and it comes up in the Rambam, and the way he says is as follows, from Pasaba V'Kisnin, Isa Shalasha B'Dvasha B'Shemen, if there's a loaf of bread which we bake with honey, with oil, or chalav, or with milk, or she'erev b'minei tavlin, or if you add in all sorts of spices, v'afa, and that's how they cook it. V'hiya nikra is pasaba v'kisnin. That is pasaba v'kisnin. Alpha pishu pas, even though that's bread. Mevarach aleha b'rei minei mazonos. You make a mazonos on it. And then the important part, im kava sudasa aleha. But if that's your entire suda, and that's how you make your suda, mevarech hamotzi. You would have to make a hamotzi just like regular bread. And that's the part of the Gemara where Rambam gets that from. Onward in the Gemara. Rav Yehuda hava asikle livrei be Rav Yehuda bar Chaviva. Rav Yehuda made a wedding between his son and the daughter of Rav Yehuda bar Chaviva. So 2 different Rav Yehudas. They're both Amoras living in the time of the Gemara, not in the time of the Mishnah, and that's going to be important. Aisula kamayhu pasaba b'kisnin, and they brought for the guests this pasaba b'kisnin, this kind of elevated bread. Ki asa shem inu. And then when he came in, he heard Tikam Mivarche Hamotzi, that they were making Hamotzi on this bread. Amar Lahu, so he told them, My tzitzi deka shmana. What's this tzi that I'm hearing? Why are you saying Hamotzi? It's kind of like making fun of the guests. Like, you guys don't know the right bracha to make on this pasaba b'kisnin. Dilma Hamotzi lechem in haaretz kam mivarchisu. Are you making Hamotzi lechem in haaretz on this bread? And that's not the right bracha to make on those rolls. So Amrile, they said to him, yes, that's what we did. Did Tanya, because we learned in a brisa, Rabbi Muna Amar Mishum Rabbi Yehuda. That Rabbi Muna said in the name of Rabbi Yehuda. Now this is another Rav Yehuda, not the Rav Yehuda here or the Rav Yehuda here. This is Rav Yehuda is a Tana, because this is coming from the Mishnah. Pasapa b'kisnin mevarchen al hamotzi. That he held that bread pasaba b'kisnin, the bracha is hamotzi. V'amar Shmuel, and Shmuel said halacha k'Rabbi Muna. The halacha goes like Rabbi Muna, and that's the halacha. We say that on hamotzi, on pasaba b'kisnin, we say hamotzi. Amar lahu. So Rabbi Yehuda responds back to them. Now Rabbi Yehuda, who's making the wedding, ein halacha k'Rabbi Muna itmar. What you meant to say is the halacha is not like Rabbi Muna. And that is very important. And how did he know that? How did Rabbi Yehuda know that that's the right way to read the Mishnah? Because Shmuel, the one we quoted right here, was Rav Yehuda's Rebbe. And he would have learned the halacha right from him. So he said, Shmuel never said that we make hamotzi, or that the halacha is like Rabbi Muna. It's ein halacha Rabbi Muna. It's not like Rabbi Muna. So Amrila, so the guest asked him, V'ha mar huda amar mishmei de Shmuel, Didn't you, Mar, master, teach us in the name of Shmuel, lachmanios ma'arvin behen mevarchan alehen hamotzi, that lachmanios, which are these little types of bread, which also are pasaba v'kisnin, we make eruvs on them, and we make hamotzi on them. Now, what do we mean? We make eruvs on them? To make an eruv, meaning to take a lot of houses in one courtyard and to surround them in one eruv so that everybody in the courtyard can carry on Shabbos. Everybody has to give little rolls and put it in one big pot, and one person has to make hamotzi for the entire courtyard for Shabbos, and then they can all carry in and out of their houses into that courtyard. U'mevarchan alahen hamotzi. And we also make hamotzi on these little breads. So you told us that pasaba v'kisin gets a hamotzi. No, shani hasam. There it was different. The kava sudusai alahu, because there they're making a suda, a full meal on these breads, and only in that case do we make hamotzi. Aval hecha delo kava sudusai alahu. But here, where we're not making a suda on this bread, not the case. So it seemed to be at that wedding, they were not making the suda on those little rolls. They were making the suda on other things, and they shouldn't have made hamotzi on those rolls. Onward, next story in the Gemara. Rav Papa ikla lebei Rav Huna, berei de Rav Natan. Rav Papa went to the house of Rav Huna, the son of Rav Natan. Basar de Gamar Sidasayu. After they finished the meal, they brought out little things to eat, maybe some dessert, maybe some nuts, maybe some fruit. So Shakal Rav Papa v'ka'achil. Rav Papa took some of this food and he was eating. He was nibbling on these snacks. So Amrila, they asked Rav Papa, Lo savar lamar gamar asr milachol. Don't you hold that gamar, when a person finished a meal, asr milachol, he's not allowed to eat anymore? Meaning once he says, now I'm finished eating and the table is cleared of all the food of the meal, then he's done and he's not allowed to eat anything further. Amr lahu, so he told them, salak itmar, which you mean to say it was removed. Meaning once the food is removed, then it's asr, but not finished in that sense. Meaning we can stop eating, but we can keep nibbling on the food until the entire table is cleared away. And that's really the halacha. That's when we have to stop eating. Next story in the Gemara. Rava v'Rabbi Zera iklu lebei Reish Galusa. Rava and Rabbi Zera went to the house of the Reish Galusa. Now some Gemaras say Rabba and not Rava, and that would make one generational difference in the reading of this Gemara. Rava lived the generation after, and there were two Rabbi Zeras. One Rabbi Zera was in the 4th generation, and one was in the 3rd generation of Amoras. So Rabba or Rava with either the 1st or the 2nd Rabbi Zera. Either way, they both went to the house of the Reish Galusa, who was the head of the exiled Jews in Bavel. Lebasar, after they finished eating, the sliku tacha mikamayu, they removed the table or the tray from these rabbis. Shadrulahu ristina mi bei Reish Galusa, and they brought them some ristina, ristina is some kind of little cooked foods, like maybe some cooked meat or vegetables, not so clear. They brought them this ristina from the house of the Reish Galusa. So they brought them additional food after the meal. Rava achil, Rava started eating it. Rabbi Zera lo achil, and Rabbi Zera did not. So Amar leit, Rabbi Zera asked Rava, Lo savar lamar salik eser mila achol. Don't you hold that once they take away the food, it's usher to eat anymore? Amar le, so we said to him, Anan atacha de Reish Galusa samchinan. We are relying on the Reish Galusa for our food. Meaning to say that we came here with the knowledge, with the intention that if he brings us food, no matter what he brings, when he brings, that's when we're going to eat and that's what we're going to eat. So yes, they did clear away the table, but we knew if they would bring us more food, yeah, we'd have more food. We'd eat more. We want to eat from his table. We want to be good guests and eat the food he brings us. So therefore, it's okay for us as guests to eat the food that they bring later after they clear the table. Amar Rav, next in the Gemara. Onward. Amar Rav says, Hirgil b'shemen, if somebody is accustomed to rubbing his hands with shemen, with oil, after they finish the meal, shemen me'akvo, then the shemen, the oil, is the defining point of when he has to not eat anymore. Once he rubs his hands with oil, he's done. No more food for him. And in that case, clearing away the table is not so important as rubbing his hands with oil. Amar Rav Ashi says, Ki havinan be Rav Kahana, when we were with Rav Kahana, Amarlan, he used to tell us, Kigon Anan, Dergilin, Mishcha. Just like us, that we are ragil, we are accustomed to rubbing our hands with oil. Mishcha ma'akvalan, so oil, that's what holds us back. That's what is the dividing point of when we can't eat anymore. And that's the halacha as we understand it. And then the Gemara says the following: V'leis hilchasa kechol hani shmaitza. The halacha is not according to all the things we just learned. Ella, this is the following halacha. Rather, the halacha is as follows: Kiha da Amar Rabbi Chia bar Ashi Amar Rav. We follow Rabbi Chia bar Ashi, who said in the name of Rav, and this is what he said: Shalosh tekifos hain. There are 3 tekifos. Tekifa is a takeoff is something that happens immediately, meaning something happens and immediately after something else happens. Takef l'smicha shchita. Immediately after the kohen leans his hands on the animal, that's smicha, leaning on the animal. Shchita. That's when he does the shchita for the karbanos. This week's parsha we learn a lot about different karbanos, parshas of Vayikra. So smicha l'shchita. He leans on the animal immediately. That's when he does the shchita. Takef l'geula tefila. Immediately after we say geula, we daven, and we learned this a few weeks ago, back when we were talking about Kriya Shema and Tefillah, where we want to say the bracha, geula, and then go right into Shemona Esrei. So immediately, without any pause between them, that is the proper way to set one's tefillos in the morning. And finally, more relevant to our daf, Takef l'netilas yadayim bracha. After a person washes his hands, then he makes the bracha. And in this case, we're talking about mayim achronim, the netila, the washing of the hands after the meal. And right after you do that, you make the bracha. You're not allowed to do anything between them, not drinking, not eating, no more food, nothing else. That there has to be no break between the mayim achronim and then the bracha. Amar Abaya says, Af ana ne'amar, Af anu ne'amar, we also say, we add an additional takef l'talmidei chachamim bracha. Immediately next to talmidei chachamim, there is bracha. If somebody hangs out a lot with very smart rabbis, very smart, wise people, he gets lots of bracha in his life. Shinamar, as it says, Hashem will bless you, or bless me on your account, because of your sake. And if you want, we have another pasuk. We can learn the same thing from here. Shinamar, as it says, Hashem es beis ha-mitzri biglal Yosef. Hashem blessed the house of the Mitzri on Yosef's account. And this is talking about Potiphar. When Potiphar took Yosef into his house, the whole house was blessed on his account. Only a few more lines, get through the Mishnah really quickly, and then this will take us all the way through to the end of the Amud. If someone makes a bracha on wine that comes before a meal, he does not have to make a bracha on wine after the meal. If he makes a bracha on parperes, the little fruits or appetizers before the meal, he covers the appetizers that they bring after the meal. If he makes a bracha on bread, he does not have to make a bracha on the appetizers, ala parperes, but if the bracha was on the appetizers, lo pater asapas, he does not cover the bread. Beis Shammai says, af la ma'aseh kedera. He also doesn't cover a ma'aseh kedera, which is kind of like either oatmeal or some kind of a kedera is a pot, so some kind of thing that's cooked in a pot, and the Gemara will explain what this is talking about tomorrow or a couple days later. Hayu yoshvin, if many people are sitting together at a table, kol echad mevorech la'atzmo, everyone should make the bracha for themselves. Hey sebu, but if they're reclining and leaning on one side, echad mevorech lekulan, one makes the bracha for all of them. Ba'al lehem yayin b'toch hamazon, if they brought wine during the meal, kol echad v'echad mevorech la'atzmo, everyone makes the bracha for himself. Achar hamazon, but if it's brought after the meal, echad mevorech lekulan, one makes the bracha for all of them. V'hu omer al hamugmar, and he also makes a bracha on the mugmar, which is kind of like besamim, sweet-smelling spices. V'afa pi she'in mevi'in es hamugmar el achar suda. And even though the besamim, these spices are brought after the suda, and they really have no connection to the suda itself, he's the one that should make the bracha on the spices.